The last decade, people have been leaving high tax, high cost living states like Illinois, New York, New Jersey, even California, and they've been landing here in Florida. And within Florida, Southwest Florida has been one of the top destinations. Now, why? No state income tax, year-round weather, waterfront lifestyle at price points that simply don't exist in Miami or Palm Beach. The retirement demand, 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every single day in America. That wave just doesn't stop. And a significant portion of them want exactly what Southwest Florida offers, which is warm weather, golf, water, and lower cost of living that is not available where they came from. That's not a trend, that's demographics. You can't argue with demographics. So the pandemic came with the distortion, then came 2020. Remote work unlocked the ability for people to live anywhere, and millions of them chose Florida. Demand exploded, inventory collapsed. From 2020 to 2022, the median prices in Southwest Florida went up by 12%, then 25%, then 20% year over year. That's just not normal. That is a once in a generation distortion. And that distortion is exactly what we're still unwinding from right now. So the foundation of this market, migration, demographics, lifestyle demands, that's still intact. So what about the pricing that got baked in during the pandemic? That's a completely different story. And that gap between what sellers think their homes are worth and what buyers are willing to pay is the story of Southwest Florida real estate market. Here's the honest summary of where we are. Southwest Florida is in a buyer's market. That is not a spin. That is just what the data says. Industry experts all over Florida have already deemed this to be not a crash. Over the past 3 years, prices have declined roughly 3%, then 2%, then 5%. Gradual, controlled, nothing like 2008. That collapse was just different. And here's the line that actually matters, which is analysts are now saying the steepest part of the correction may already be behind us. We're moving from correction phase into what I'm calling the stabilization window. Prices are plateauing, inventory, while still elevated, is starting to inch down in some submarkets, and sales volume, the number of actual transactions, is picking back up. Sellers who bought before the pandemic boom, they still have significant equity. You're fine. The challenge is sellers who bought at the peak of 2021 or 22 and are still pricing for those numbers. Those homes are sitting and they still keep sitting. Now let's go market by market, because Naples, Fort Myers, and Cape Coral are each playing by different rules right now. And the difference matters enormously depending on what you're trying to do. So let's talk about numbers. Naples, the luxury stronghold. Naples has always been a premium market in Southwest Florida, and it still is. But even Naples have softened. Median sales price is sitting at around $649,000 right now. That's down about 4.4% year over year. Homes are taking an average of 84 days to sell. Inventory is roughly at 4.2 months of supply. Now, the luxury end of Naples, above $1 million, tells a different story. The Redfin 3-month rolling median for Naples is actually $1.3 million. What that means is that there is effectively two Naples markets. The entry-level side, where affordability pressure is real, and the ultra-luxury side, which has its own insulated demand and is holding firmer. 84 days of market, that's up from 81 days last year, and a small move, but directionally important. Buyers in Naples are not rushing, they have options, they have time, and sellers who price accurately are still selling. Sellers who don't are building up days on market that will eventually force a price reduction anyway. Now, let's talk about Fort Myers. Fort Myers being the middle ground. Fort Myers is what I'd call the most balanced market in the region right now. It has something Cape Coral doesn't: an established infrastructure, historic neighborhoods, the river district also, proximity to I-75. The median days of market here in Fort Myers are hovering around 75 days. That's up meaningfully from where it was a few years ago. And it tells buyers have time to breathe. You don't need to waive inspections. You don't need to write letters to the sellers. You can actually do your due diligence. One of the most interesting things happening in Fort Myers right now is what economists call the lock-in effect is fading. For a while, sellers wouldn't list or sell their home because they just didn't want to trade their 3% mortgage rate for a 6% or a 7%. But life doesn't wait for the perfect market conditions. Downsizes happen, divorces happen, relocation happens, estate sales, more inventory is coming to the market regardless of where rates are. That inventory is creating opportunity for buyers. Now in Cape Coral, it's what we call the value play. Cape Coral, 400 miles of canals, the most waterfront lifestyle per dollar in the entire country, in my opinion. Medium sale price around $375,000. That is $274,000 less than Naples for buyers who want the Southwest Florida waterfront lifestyle living without the Naples price tag. Cape Coral is the conversation. Inventory is significant. We're seeing 6 to 9 months of supply in many segments, which put it clearly in a buyer's market, buyer's territory. There are over 560 homes under contract right now, and 347 of those, more than 60%, are priced under $400,000. That tells you exactly where the buyer energy is concentrated. 38% of active inventory is new construction from 2020 or later. If you want a newer build, Cape Coral is your hunting ground. Now here's where I need to slow down and give you a warning, because there is one segment of the Southwest Florida market that is moving in a completely different direction from everything else. If you don't understand this before you make a decision, it could cost you significantly. Because single family homes and condos in Southwest Florida are moving in opposite directions right now. Single family homes are holding value better, selling faster, and drawing more buyer demand. Condos are facing real headwinds. And there are two reasons why. Insurance costs across Southwest Florida have been brutal after back-to-back hurricane seasons. Condo associations have been hit especially hard. Some buildings are seeing HOA fees double because reserve requirements and insurance premiums have exploded. Buyers are doing the math. Condo that looks affordable at $300,000 starts looking very different when the HOA is $1,200 a month. After the Champlain Towers collapse in Surfside, Florida, passed new laws requiring milestone structural inspection for condo buildings 3 stories or higher. A lot of older buildings are discovering deferred maintenance they now legally have to fund, and those costs are being passed directly to unit owners through special assessments. Buyers know this, they're pricing in the risk. Sellers of condos who haven't adjusted their price accordingly are sitting on the market. Now, this doesn't mean condos are a bad buy. There are genuinely compelling deals in the condo market right now, especially for cash buyers who understand the HOA pictures, but the due diligence bar is higher. Now, before you buy a condo in Southwest Florida, you need the HOA financials. The research study, the inspection history, it's just non-negotiable. Now, single family homes, that's where the momentum is. And that brings me to something that I think is the most underappreciated opportunity in this market right now, which is the summer window. Southwest Florida real estate has a very specific seasonal rhythm that a lot of people, especially out-of-state buyers, don't fully understand. The traditional pattern is seasons run from October through April. Snowbirds come from the Midwest and Northeast, open houses are packed, properties move. Then May hits, temperatures go up, the market gets quiet. But here is what I want you to understand about summer of 2026 specifically. This is not a typical slow summer, and here's why. There are motivated sellers. There is a significant group of sellers who did not get the price they wanted during season, February, March, April, and they've now been counseled to either reduce their price or wait until next October. Some are reducing right now, and that creates an immediate opportunity for summer buyers who are paying attention. Serious buyers only. The casual tire kickers went home with the snowbirds, Who's in the market in June, July, and August? People relocating for work, retirees who've made their decision, investors actively hunting. These aren't people browsing Zillow on Sunday afternoon. These are buyers who are ready to act, and they face less competition from buyers at any point during the year. There's also seller flexibility. When a home has been in the market since February and a quiet summer is staring a seller in the face, their negotiation position shifts. I am seeing sellers in this market offering closing costs, concessions, rate buy downs, even personal property thrown into the deal. The leverage is real. Now, the summer window in Southwest Florida has historically been one of the best times to buy. And in 2026, with elevated inventory, motivated sellers, it is especially pronounced. So the opportunity is real, but the opportunity only matters if you know how to actually use it. Whether you are a buyer, a seller, or an investor, the playbook is different right now, and most people are using the wrong one.
Take care of the game for me.
I'll give you.
I don't know, but I think it's important.
Here's a playbook. If you're a buyer, this is your market. Full stop. You have inventory to choose from, sellers who are willing to negotiate, time to think, time to inspect, time to walk away if something doesn't feel right. Historically, the best time to buy in any market is not when everyone else is buying. It's when things are quiet and sellers are flexible. That is the exact description of Southwest Florida right now. My advice is get pre-approved before you do anything else. Know your numbers and work with someone who actually knows the micro markets, because Cape Coral, Fort Myers, and Naples are playing by different rules, and generic market advice will cost you. If you're a seller, the buyers in this market are sophisticated. They've done the research, they know what comparable homes sold for, not what they were listed at, what they actually closed for. If you price accurately, you will sell. If you price for 2022, you will sit. And the longer you sit, the more price reductions you'll make and the less you have in net in the end. Pricing right from day one is not leaving money on the table. It is strategy. If an agent asks you to price high, to then leave room to negotiate, ask them to show you how many of their listings in the last 6 months closed above the original price. In this market, that number will tell you everything you need to know. Now, if you're an investor, the long-term story of Southwest Florida is unchanged. Population growth, immigration, retirees, infrastructure investment. Here's a quote from a respected Southwest Florida market analyst. There has never been in a 10-year period in modern Southwest Florida history where real estate values did not eventually rise. Short-term rental yields have compressed in some areas, Lee Acres, parts of Cape Coral, as inventory has increased. But if you're buying today with a 5-year, 10-year horizon, the entry point right now looks compelling. You're not catching the absolute bottom. Nobody does. But you are buying in a market that is stabilizing with motivated sellers before the next appreciation cycle begins. Now, here's the part that matters most. All of this data, all of this analysis is only useful if you know what to do with it. So let me give you the direct version. Here's where we are in Southwest Florida real estate. A market transition from correction to stabilization, a buyer's market with real leverage, a seller's market that requires accuracy, not optimism, and an investor's market where the long game is still very much alive. The summer seasonal window is open now, motivated sellers, less competition, real negotiation room, and if history is any guide, that window closes when season starts again in October. And by then, the market conversation will have changed. You don't need to rush, but you do need to pay attention. Southwest Florida real estate has done something remarkable over the last 20 years. It has absorbed a hurricane supercycle, a global financial crisis, a pandemic distortion, and a significant correction. And the long-term history has remained intact every single time. Now, the question isn't whether Southwest Florida matters as a market. It does. The question is whether you started thinking clearly about your timing before everyone else does. If this was useful, like the video. It really helps more people in Southwest Florida find this information. Subscribe if you want real market data and really be in the know of what's going on here in Southwest Florida. Drop a comment below. I read every single one and respond to each one personally.